What's up, people? I am back for another video. Today, I am reviewing the first Deadpool. So, this is so far my plan. I found Trap online. Finally can find it. I finally found it. So, I'll be watching it sometime tomorrow. And depending on how tomorrow goes, maybe I'll review it in the afternoon. Or it'll be sometime tomorrow. So, I'll review that tomorrow. Wednesday, for sure, will be Bad Movie Wednesdays. We're going to do Santa with Muscles with Hulk Hogan. Thursday, I think I'll do a wrestling related video. Maybe I'll talk about, um, you know what I want to talk about? Maybe I'll list my favorite matches. I'll keep it at 5. So it won't be too long of a video. And we'll talk about that. And then Friday, pending, I'm really debating on, because I like a little bit of Borderlands. I'm not an expert, but I like the first Borderlands game. I played that one, and I've seen the second one, which I liked for the most part as a story. So I figure maybe I'm debating on whether to roast the new Borderlands movie, because I want to be honest, guys. I think this is going to be a month. There's going to be a lot of roasts. You got the really trash Crow movie coming in a couple of weeks, which that's going to be the big one I'm going to roast this month. Potentially Alien Romulus, because I'm going to be honest, I am... You know what, fuck it. I know I said I would do a wrestling video Friday, Thursday. I might do that video, I'll push that to the weekend. What I think I might do is I kind of want to go in on Alien Romulus, so we'll talk about that a little bit. I'll talk about why I'm not hyped about... I'll give it a different title, but I'll go into why I don't think Alien Romulus will be good, basically. So I'll talk about that, because that has been bothering me. I'll give you a little hint right now. I just don't like that everything I've seen, it just looks like every Alien movie I've fucking seen. There's so many scenes in the trailer that I'm trailers, plural, and I'm I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that. It's just shit I've already seen. Yeah, I think the Xenomorph looks cool. I do like that they're using practical, but I feel like they're hiding behind that too much. It's very uncreative, and I'm gonna preface and say this too. Just having more facehuggers doesn't make it cool. The one thing that made the first Alien cool was there was one face. Even in Aliens, they didn't just we're gonna have a million facehuggers. Yeah, they added more Xenomorphs, but that made sense. But they weren't just, we're gonna do more facehuggers. No, I think for the most part, in terms of facehuggers that was active, is only really one. You got the one scene where Burke tried to have it kill Ripley and Newt. Anyway, I'm not gonna go too long into that. I'll save that for Thursday. But yeah, I want to talk about that. So, and then like I said, Friday will be Deadpool 2. We'll be doing that, and then pending on so either on the weekend, if I decide to if let's say Borderlands is up by maybe Thursday or Friday, if it's online, I might roast it just to roast it. We'll see. So I'll see how I'm feeling. But anyway, let's get into the first Deadpool. Man, I remember when the first trailer, because this movie was a long time coming. Because the story of, obviously what happened with X-Men Origins with Barakapool. And Ryan Reynolds actually wanted to play Deadpool, but the studio didn't want to have it. Because obviously at the time, Deadpool wasn't a big name. He was just this, mark with the mouth. But he was seen as a side character. It's crazy. Because, now he's seen as a household name. But at the time, he wasn't, So that's what... He wasn't a Wolverine, a Magneto, a Professor X, who, within the X-Men world is a big name. Deadpool was seen as a side character. But then Ryan Reynolds really pushed for it. Obviously, you had that leak of the if you remember pretty much the scene you see in the freeway leaked, and then obviously it got out. And I remember seeing the first trailer for the movie, and I was really, this looks good. This looks fun. Just seeing Deadpool in the costume. I like Deadpool. I've always liked him. Dude with swords. That's what kind of tried me. Oh, he has guns and swords. Okay, and just seeing the movie finally deliver, it was dude, this was great. The simplicity of, and maybe in the end of probably the second one, because I already reviewed Deadpool and Wolverine, or Deadpool 3. I'll do my ranking of the films there. But to me, this is the best one. I love Deadpool and Wolverine. As much as I love the dynamic between Wolverine and Deadpool, I love the simplicity of this one. It just brings it down to it's a simple film. It's an origin story, but it's not too long of an origin story. It's not like you spend like the origin story, like the legit origin story, like where you have the part where obviously he gets cancer, and then he makes the decision to get the experiment, and obviously that's when he gets his powers, but he becomes a slave, and then that he breaks out. It's pretty quick. That's done within like maybe 15-20 minutes, like it all together. And I love the soundtrack. I love the flash forward and the flashback. Like, yeah, it's kind of starts from the present, and then it goes into a flashback, and then obviously back to where it started, and then a little bit of a flashback again. But Francis Ajax, great villain. He fucks up Deadpool's face, and Deadpool wants him to fix it, thinking he could fix it. Colossus and Negasonic, cool characters. I just love the basics of Deadpool 1. I think that's what, rewatching it again, I rewatched it again on I think it was last Friday. It's just the simplicity of it, man. It wasn't like complicated. I love the side characters like Blind Owl or, the taxi driver, great character. Just I don't know. The soundtrack was great. Fuck, they played Chicago. I love Chicago. Obviously Careless Whisper is probably like when you think this will be that song, or X Gonna Give It to You, which was in the trailers. Gina as one of the side villains was pretty good. I overall love this movie. Probably give this film a 9.5 out of 10. Like in terms of as a like Deadpool film, it is what I expected. It was R-rated. It was pretty gory. Like the scene at the freeway is probably one of my favorite sequences in the fucking movie. I remember just seeing it in the theater the first time, just being like, "Wow, they actually did a Deadpool movie and they did it fucking right." So yeah, and obviously the Green Lantern. I even love like the title credits with the Angel of the Morning playing, and like the directed by an overpaid tool. I love those little shots of the director and stuff. That's the one thing I will. I saw Mahler talking about this in his stream, and I kind of agree. I do think the title crawl for Deadpool 3 was a little weak. I needed something like that, like directed by an overpaid tool. Like that was what made the Deadpool title crawls unique. Was they were almost mock. It was that meta. I kind of wish they did that again a little bit in the third one, but it's not the end of the world. But yeah, to me, this is the best one. I'm gonna. I watched the ending of Deadpool 3 again, and I still like it. I have to rewatch it all the way through. Like I mostly like Deadpool 2, but it's probably the weakest of the three. I don't like the fucking fat kid. I'm sorry, Russell, I think is his name. He was weak. I didn't really like there wasn't a main villain either. I didn't really like Vanessa getting shot out of nowhere. That was weird. Um, the I didn't really like how some of the X Force were handled. I would have rather the film needed a big bad, and I felt like there really wasn't. That's one thing I think that made the first Deadpool 1 and 3 great, was there was like as much as 3, I'll admit the villains weren't done great, but there was at least a villain, like a villain, overarching villain. Juggernaut wasn't that. He comes in towards the end. So anyway, but yeah, Deadpool 1 is an 8 out of 10, a 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, it is my favorite of the trilogy. It's so fun. But then again, tomorrow should be reviewing Trapped, because I saw Trapped finally is up, so I'll be roasting that tomorrow because I'm hearing it's really bad. And I don't know, man. M. Night can't do shit that's not an adaptation. So we'll see. I'm hoping at best Josh Hartnett carries the movie. But I was talking about this with Mara a little bit earlier. I don't know if the fucking plot will make any fucking sense, though. It feels kind of contrived to get the killer to it. I'll talk about that more tomorrow. But anyways, let's get into Deadpool. So we get the opening scene, which is the the scene of him getting in the in the Angel of the Morning credits. Deadpool, like, I really love. I've always loved the opening credits of that movie, and I even just like that movie made me like listen to the song. And then we get obviously the continuation of the crash. Deadpool about to kill these guys, and then they kind of cut to him a little flashback where you see him as Wade Wilson as a kind of like a mercenary, where we see him kind of fuck with a stalker of a girl, and she calls him a hero. And this is at the start. He doesn't want to. He basically doesn't accept being a hero. That's his initial kind of arc, where he starts. And then this is where we meet T.J. Miller's character, who I'll admit he was a fun character, even though T.J. Miller's a fucking crazy in real life. But I did like his character in the first two movies. I did think he was a nice little, like, almost, I guess you can kind of call it a little bit of a sidekick to Wade. But then, this is where Wade meets Vanessa. Initially, kind of starts as she's a stripper or hooker, and then eventually they start falling in love. There's even a sequence where they kind of hook up, like, on every kind of big holiday. Wade on Christmas gets like cancer, and that's when a guy offers him a chance to become like a superhero, basically, and he initially turns it down. Well, he doesn't use the word superhero, but basically he finds a way to beat cancer. But then he realizes he doesn't want Vanessa to suffer, so he does leave in the middle of the night while she's asleep. And then we get a bit back to a flash forward where we see Deadpool kill the mercs in the car from the earlier, which I'll admit was a fucking awesome scene. Oh, we also do see him get into the taxi. We get the song playing, which that was one of the other songs when he's chilling on the freeway. Causes the crash. We get the cool action sequence where he only has his 12 guns because he left his gun bag, which is a recurring joke because he leaves it later. Yeah, I love the simplicity of the first one. I actually kind of like just how over the top it is, because it really nailed. That's how a Deadpool comic is. It's very out there. It's just Deadpool being Deadpool, and there's random guys just getting fucking killed very brutally, and I think they really nailed the tone. But it was done in a way where it wasn't fucking annoying. Because I love Deadpool, but I can understand why some people can see he can get annoying sometimes, and even I, who like the character, depending on who writes him, there are times people can write him very annoying. So, but in the movies, he was done very well. I would say all three, relatively, he's done very well. I don't feel like, he's annoying as fuck. So, then this is where Colossus and Negasonic show up because they see him on the TV. This is where he manages to get Francis because he wants Francis to fix his face. At this point, we don't fully know what happened yet. And then, so Francis manages to get away. Deadpool gets put in handcuffs, but he cuts his hand off because obviously he can regenerate. So he jumps on like a garbage truck, and this is where he goes into how he got disfigured. And it turns out, like, he gets the mutation, but it's because turns out that Francis is running basically like, it's not to make him a superhero. It becomes like it's to become a slave. And I'll admit, he basically the whole time Wade just fucks with Ajax or Francis the whole time because his name is Francis, so he's mocking his name. And I'll admit, he's a good bad guy. I've seen him in other stuff, but he plays a very good bad guy. Just simple. There's nothing, he's just a bad guy. He's the foil that Wade needs to get. Because he can't feel pain. But obviously, in their first fight, when after Wade gets the experiment and, Wade causes an explosion to get out. But Francis beats his ass. I will say it. Like, that first fight, Francis beats the shit out of him. But Wade manages to escape because the building burns down while Francis escapes, along with Angel Dust. I think is that's Gina Carano's character, who I'll admit she was a fun character as like a side little villain. Wade meets up with his friend. We get some nice banter between them. This is where Wade starts looking for Francis. And this is basically where Deadpool, hence he gets the name because they're doing a death pool on Wade. So they just made the name Deadpool that way. So I thought it was a nice creative way to call him Deadpool in this world. Um, and yeah, we see Deadpool in like a little bit of a kill montage, like going through his different comics. Because one of the costumes, he can't like, I meant to say costume, not comics. One of the costumes, it's like the initial red one, but the sound's muffled, so they couldn't hear him. So this is where we get the suit we see him in now. Then we get like a fast forward scene of him going to find Francis, and then he's back at Blind Owl. He's seen one of the montages earlier. I'm not gonna lie, man. The gags are very well done in this movie, but it's not detrimental to the plot either. That's why I'm like, even in 2016, I felt like if this movie, I hate to say it, I love Deadpool 1, but I feel like it would not be as good if it came out. It's crazy because Deadpool 3 came out, but that was partially because you have to tie with Logan. If we're just doing the simple Deadpool 1 plot, I don't know if you make that work now. Just because I feel like they would go too far into like the overly comedy route, where I'm happy this film still has heart. He wants to see Vanessa again, but he doesn't want to see her because he looks like the way he looks. So he fears rejection. So he doesn't want to see her right away. But then, so, the movie is pretty short too. It's only like an hour and 48 because I think at this point he's forced to try to go see Vanessa because he realizes she's in danger. Because at this point, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Francis and Angelus go to the bar Deadpool is at, usually goes in, and they're looking, and they recognize Vanessa. So they recognize, okay, that's Deadpool's foil. So after that, we get a Blade 2 joke, which is pretty funny. Because the guy says, like, go to your midnight showing of Blade 2. Like, that was pretty funny. So Wade has to try to go see her early, but he kind of doesn't see her in time, and she goes outside and she thinks it's Wade coming, but it's Ajax. She gets knocked out. Like, the movie goes quick, man. Like, it's not a long movie, which I think that's what works about the Deadpool films. They're not too long, because they shouldn't be. I don't think a Deadpool film should ever go like 2.5 hours. I think 2 hours is a nice, like, maybe max 2 hours. But I think that first Deadpool is the perfect length. Hour and, like, I think it was like 48, something like that. Like, it goes relatively quick. Like, pretty much, like, once Deadpool, like, is in the present, like, we get out of the flashback territory, it kind of goes. Because it's like, then, yeah, he has to go try to see Vanessa before, because, they're looking for her, and he goes to Wade about it, so. And then, yeah, they give him all the guns. We even get a scene without Blind Owl, I love her, man. In the first one, especially. She's so fucking funny. Like, we get the scene with Mini and Deadpool, like, Deadpool with the mini hand because he got his hand chopped off, so it's like, so, I don't know, I think that really I think what makes this work is Ryan Reynolds. I think he really loves the character. Like, he studied the character and he becomes it. Like, I really think this is like Ryan Reynolds really nails Deadpool. Like, in all 3 films, the one constant I can say is his performance as Deadpool is great. Like I said, I think the first one is perfect because it's straight up a Deadpool comic. So is 3, because, because there are Deadpool comics where he teams up with Wolverine, and I think they nailed that aspect too. But something about the first one edges it out a little bit. I love the simplicity of that first Deadpool. Like, I think that is a thing you're gonna know about me. I love simplicity, man. Like just something that's like, obviously a lot of my favorite movies. Jaws, Halloween, the first Jurassic Park even. Simple films. Back to the Future. Simple films. this movie, like especially as a comic book film, simple. Yeah, like there's an origin story, but it's not like the bulk of the film. It's like 15, 20 minutes if you just kind of combine it all. Um, Ajax, decent villain. You have the final face off. We get another scene with the taxi driver who I fucking love. I love that character. And he gets caught with his cousin Bantu, I think is his name. And then yeah, we Deadpool leaves his duffel bag with all the weapons again. So Deadpool he manages to get Negasonic, and we get a rip because she's shaved, so we get a Ripley from Alien 3 joke, which was pretty funny. And I love the joke about like it seems like the studio can only afford 2 X-Men, basically. Yeah, so Colossus and we get the scene with X gonna give it to you playing big face off. We get the superhero landing joke, and pretty much the final battle. Deadpool confronts Francis while Colossus fights Angel Dust, and Negasonic kind of takes up the rest of the guys. Pretty fun little fight, man. I love like even during the fight with Francis, which is pretty good. Like it was pretty back and forth. Francis got some good shots on Deadpool. Obviously, you knew Deadpool was gonna win because he can regenerate. You get the scene where he gets stabbed in the head, and then fucking Chicago, you're the inspiration starts playing, and I love the way they did the sound because he got stabbed in the head, so it has like a little bit of like they made the sound kind of blurry, so you still can hear the song, but it's like kind of a little bit low. And then he takes the knife out of its head, and it's like clear. It's perfect. And then yeah, Negasonic helps take out Angel Dust while she causes the ship, destruction of the ship because she blows up something on the floor, which causes the ship to pretty much everything to fall. Vanessa survives because she's put in like this pod, and then Deadpool pretty much kills Francis because Francis admits he can't fix him. So Deadpool's like, well, you pretty much, well, I don't need you anymore, basically. And then we get a funny scene with Colossus trying to tell him what makes a hero, and then through all that, Deadpool just shoots Francis in the head. It's pretty funny. And then we get the scene where he talks to Vanessa, which I love their chemistry. That's why I just going to Deadpool a little bit of not a rant, but just a little bit of this little bit of a complaint about this aspect about the Deadpool and Wolverine. They didn't need to break up him and Vanessa. I didn't think that was needed. I liked them together. They were a great couple. I always felt like him and Morena Baccarin is her name. Ryan and Morena had great chemistry, even in Deadpool too, even though she's not in it a lot. I just don't. I didn't need them to be broken up. I just felt like you didn't need to do that. You could have not done that. They could have just been together. The movie plays out the same way. Because I like them together. I felt like, yeah, she's an original character for this world, yeah, because technically, yeah, Deadpool in the comics has Lady Death, or there's fucking Domino. There's stories where he does date Domino, so, that's fine. But I'm okay with Vanessa. I like Vanessa as a character, so I didn't really feel like you needed to break them up anyway. Him and Vanessa reconcile. She sees his face. And then he plays fucking Carol's Whisper while kissing her. And then you get a Ferris Bueller joke in the end, if you remember the gag, like, you're still here. You get a Deadpool doing his version of that. Like, the movie goes, man. It's a fun one. I love that first Deadpool. I just forgot. I love how simple it is. And it doesn't just feel like a CBM. It's just a good comedy. I like it as a comedy. I don't just look at it as generic comic book movie. I look at it as a funny comedy. I think it's well done. Even rewatching it last week, it's still really good. So I love Deadpool 1. I think it's the best of the three. I do think Deadpool 2 is my second favorite. And obviously 2 is... We'll see if Deadpool 2 maybe is a bit better. Because I am going to rewatch it like all the way this week. On Friday. But tomorrow, Trap review. I'm hoping at best it's decent. I'm not expecting much. It's fucking M. Night. Especially, it's an original idea. It's not like it's based off like an adaptation like Knock at the Cabin was. This is an original idea. I'm hoping at best too. Maybe Josh Hartnett carries the movie and makes it tolerable. I've heard terrible things. I've heard it's really bad. Like it's kind of boring. I've heard that there's not a lot of kills in it. The twist, really, there is no twist. I'll just say it. Josh Hartnett's the killer. I mean, click, you can see that in the fucking trailer. It's like, so I'm hoping maybe Josh Hartnett's performance is decent enough that it can kind of somewhat carry it, but we'll see. I'm reviewing it tomorrow, so I plan on watching it tomorrow. So, but Deadpool 1 is great. I definitely recommend if you've not seen it. It's great. You can almost watch it by itself and it works. You know, I don't get me wrong. I think Deadpool, Wolverine, and Deadpool 2 even are worth watching. I just you can Deadpool 1 can easily work as a one off. You know. But anyways, guys, Deadpool 1 is a 9.5 out of 10. Can't wait to watch 2 again, and then yeah, tomorrow trap review. We'll see if it's decent. Like I said, I'm going in low expectations. And it seems sometimes that helps. You know, if you go in with low expectations, you're not like Twisters. I went in with kind of low expectations. I didn't hate it. So we'll see if I have that with this movie. I'm watching it tomorrow. So anyways, guys, I'm going to call it here. You know what I'm going to title this video? The Deadpool movie we wanted. Because that's what it was. It was finally the Deadpool movie we've wanted as an audience, as Deadpool fans. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it here. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.